While Taiwan was still under Japanese rule, the Republic of China was founded on the mainland on January 1, 1912, following the Xinhai Revolution, which began with the Wuchang Uprising on October 10, 1911, replacing the Qing dynasty and ending over 2,000 years of imperial rule in China. 119. From its founding until 1949 it was based in mainland China. Central authority waxed and waned in response to warlordism, 1915-28, Japanese invasion, 1937-45, and the Chinese Civil War, 1927-50, with central authority strongest during the Nanjing Decade, 1927-37, when most of China came under the control of the Kuomintang, KMT, under an authoritarian one-party state. In September 1945, following Japan's surrender in World War II, ROC forces, assisted by small American teams, prepared an amphibious lift into Taiwan to accept the surrender of the Japanese military forces there, under General Order No. 1, and take over the administration of Taiwan. On 25 October, General Rikichi Ando, Governor-General of Taiwan and Commander-in-Chief of all Japanese forces on the island, signed the receipt and handed it over to ROC General Chen Yi to complete the official turnover. Chen proclaimed that day to be Taiwan Retrocession Day, but the Allies, having entrusted Taiwan and the Penghu Islands to Chinese administration and military occupation, nonetheless considered them to be under Japanese sovereignty until 1952 when the Treaty of San Francisco took effect. In the 1943 Cairo Declaration, U.S., U.K., and ROC representatives specified territories such as Formosa and the Pescadores to be restored by Japan to the Republic of China. Its terms were later referred to in the 1945 Potsdam Declaration, whose provisions Japan agreed to carry out in its instrument of surrender. Due to disagreements over which government, PRC or ROC, to invite, China did not attend the eventual signing of the Treaty of San Francisco, whereby Japan renounced all titles and claims to Formosa and the Pescadores without specifying to whom they were surrendered. In 1952, Japan and the ROC signed the Treaty of Taipei, recognizing that all treaties concluded before December 9, 1941 between China and Japan have become null and void. Interpretations of these documents and their legal implications give rise to the debate over the sovereignty status of Taiwan. While initially enthusiastic about the return of Chinese administration and the three principles of the people, Formosans grew increasingly dissatisfied about being excluded from higher positions, the postponement of local elections even after the enactment of a constitution on the mainland, the smuggling of valuables off the island, the expropriation of businesses into government-operated monopolies, and the hyperinflation of 1945 to 1949. The shooting of a civilian on February 28, 1947 triggered island-wide unrest, which was suppressed by Chen with military force in what is now called the February 28 incident. Mainstream estimates of the number killed range from 18,000 to 30,000. Many native leaders were killed, as well as students and some mainlanders. Chen was later relieved and replaced by Wei Taoming, who made an effort to undo previous mismanagement by reappointing a good proportion of islanders and reprivatizing businesses. After the end of World War II, the Chinese Civil War resumed between the Chinese nationalists, Kuomintang, led by Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, and the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, led by CCP chairman Mao Zedong. Throughout the months of 1949, a series of Chinese communist offensives led to the capture of its capital Nanjing on 23 April and the subsequent defeat of the Nationalist Army on the mainland, and the Communists founded the People's Republic of China on 1 October. On December 7, 1949, after the loss of 4 capitals, Chiang evacuated his nationalist government to Taiwan and made Taipei the temporary capital of the ROC, also called the wartime capital by Chiang Kai-shek. 143, some 2 million people, consisting mainly of soldiers, members of the ruling Kuomintang and intellectual and business elites, were evacuated from mainland China to Taiwan at that time, adding to the earlier population of approximately 6 million. These people came to be known in Taiwan as Weising Ren, residents who came to the island in the 1940s and 50s after Japan's surrender, as well as their descendants. In addition, the ROC government took to Taipei many national treasures and much of China's gold and foreign currency reserves. After losing control of mainland China in 1949, the ROC retained control of Taiwan and Penghu, Taiwan, ROC, parts of Fujian, ROC, specifically Kinmen, Wuqiu, now part of Kinmen, and the Matsu Islands and two major islands in the South China Sea, within the Dongsha/Pratas and Nansha/Spratly Island groups. These territories have remained under ROC governance until the present day. The ROC also briefly retained control of the entirety of Hainan, an island province, parts of Zhejiang, Zhejiang, specifically the Deccan Islands and Yuzhongshan Islands, and portions of Tibet, Qinghai, Xinjiang, and Yunnan. The Communists captured Hainan in 1950, captured the Deccan Islands and Yuzhongshan Islands during the First Taiwan Strait Crisis in 1955 and defeated the ROC revolts in northwest China in 1958. ROC forces in Yunnan province entered Burma and Thailand in the 1950s and were defeated by Communists in 1961. Ever since losing control of mainland China, the Kuomintang continued to claim sovereignty over all of China, which it defined to include mainland China, including Tibet, Taiwan, including Penghu, Outer Mongolia, and other minor territories.